well, welcome to US Hemp TV. I'm Jonathan Miller, the General Counsel of the US Hemp Roundtable, and I am so privileged and honored here to be with Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat from Oregon. There is no member of Congress who has been more supportive of the US hemp industry than Senator Wyden. He has not only voted for all of our key legislation, but he has been very helpful in sending letters, sometimes very strong-worded letters to federal agencies that haven't come along with the program, and has been a real source and inspiration for a lot of the work. So first of all, Mr. Chairman, thank you for joining us today. And I just wanted to, I've never had the chance to ask you this, but why hemp? Why do you fit the bill as one of hemp's biggest champions on Capitol Hill?
It's an interesting story, and it goes back to several years ago. My wife and I are older parents, and she was pregnant with Scarlett, our beautiful redhead. Pictures available on my iPhone after we're done with this discussion. And we're walking through the aisle of Costco, and I see this gigantic bag of hemp hearts, and the packaging says that this is the greatest thing there ever was. It's healthy, it's great for your heart, good source of protein, good for your blood pressure. I mean, it was kind of like you eat a bag of it and you'd be able to play forward for the Portland Trail Blazers. That was my dream. I went to school on a basketball scholarship. Now, at that time, there was this ban on growing hemp in America. But there it was sitting on a grocery shelf in Oregon. And I said to myself, this is nutty, even by Washington, D.C. standards, that you can have this huge bag of hemp hearts being promoted like crazy at the local Costco store, but hemp growers in places like China and Canada must be laughing all the way to the bank because they're selling us a product that our farmers can't grow in Oregon. And so I adopted right then the radical proposition, what a radical thought, that if you can buy it in a major supermarket in Oregon and across the country, our farmers ought to be able to grow it in America. And when I told this very story to Mitch McConnell, who was already the Republican leader, he started laughing and he told his wife. And the reality was that the climate for purposes of hemp in Oregon and Kentucky are really very similar. We worked together until Congress legalized the production of hemp back in 2018. And I'll tell you the real driver for me, because I knew that this would be a huge bonanza for Oregon agriculture, is that we've seen a lot of young farmers get very interested in hemp. And at a time when the age of farmers in America keeps going up and up, to have all these young farmers interested and coming back to the farm because they see so much potential, here, was really a special part of my saying every step of the way when we're running up against hassles and bureaucracy. We'll talk a little bit, about that. I just said, we're on the right side of history. Look at all these young farmers coming back to ag.
Well, I want to follow up on Costco, because you can go into a Costco today, or a Walmart, or a Target, or Walgreens, or CVS and get hemp hearts now, but you can't buy hemp-derived CBD. Now, you can find hemp-derived CBD almost everywhere else, in gas stations and vape shops, but the big box stores aren't carrying these products because of regulatory uncertainty being caused at the federal level. And you have, today as we speak, introduced a bill that would address that, the Hemp Access and Consumer Safety Act. So tell us about that bill and you know, what it's about and what do you think is going to happen with that bill in the coming months?
I'm very hopeful about the bill, and I'll discuss it. It's bipartisan. All our efforts have been. But the reason that those big stores are still very leery and very apprehensive is that the Congress said hemp and hemp-derived CBD is not an illicit drug, and yet the Food and Drug Administration still treats it that way. That's why you have the stores like the Costco's so apprehensive. So this is a major problem. First, it's a consumer safety issue because there's tremendous interest in CBD being a supplement or in food and beverages, yet it's not being regulated by the exact agency that handles those food and dietary supplements. So the heart of the problem, again, going back to those big box stores, is CBD is in a kind of regulatory never land, a kind of regulatory gray zone. And the consumer wants to know that everything they purchase is top quality, meets basic standards, is labeled appropriately. But the FDA has basically gone out and tied its own hands in order to regulate. And that brings you the other side of the problem. So the consumer wants to know they're buying safe products, and the FDA won't take the steps to ensure that. But then the farmer, as a result of that, faces an enormous amount of uncertainty. So they miss out on opportunities, and that's particularly harmful in rural economies like rural Oregon. I mean, Southern Oregon has had a great interest in CBD. So since the FDA has been so slow, I've said we might as well call this bill the Enough is Enough Act.
Amen.
All right, that's really what it is, the Enough is Enough Act. We legalized it in 2018. Years before that, Malcolm McGeary, our star CBD staffer, he and I went out on the floor and we held up all these hemp products and said, this sure doesn't look like a Schedule I shirt to me. And what we're doing is really two things. We're giving hemp-derived CBD products the chance to be lawfully used in the supplements, the food and beverages under the federal statute, the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, and we ensure FDA regulation that requires the manufacturers to comply with all existing rules, all existing regulations for the products that contain CBD, and you make sure that the products are properly labeled. So there's two sides to one coin, and we take care of both of them with those two requirements. The first side of the coin is the consumer wants to know that they are purchasing products that are safe. We've got a requirement for labeling. The farmer wants the certainty that they and manufacturers are complying with the federal rules, which gives them the green light to know that there's going to be a market for them. So that's the two things that the bill does in something resembling English. I'm very pleased that Senator Rand Paul and Senator Merkley are joining me And I'm just being told by the staff I've got like a minute left in a big vote on the floor. But can I make one other quick point, Jonathan?
Please do.
Already today, since we introduced the bill, everybody says, Ron, what should we do? Let me tell you very specifically. We've learned on hemp that political change rarely starts in a bunch of government buildings and then trickles down. The strength of our movement in terms of hemp, for those of us who see the incredible opportunity here for consumers and people who have seen how these products make such a difference in their health and in their life. This makes sure that their products are safe, and it provides an added measure of security and certainty for the farmer that those opportunities are going to be there. So if everybody who's following Hemp TV today makes a note that they're going to talk to their senators and their House members and say, by the way, there's a House bill too. We want you to go on out there and support this bill with Senator Merkley, Senator Paul, and myself. That's the biggest thing that they could do to help us going forward.
Terrific. And we make it easy for them. We'll put a website right up here, hempsupporter.com. You go there, you put in your name and zip code. It'll know who your senators are right away and populate a message of support for the Wyden Paul Merkley bill, the Hemp Access and Consumer Safety Act.
While they're at it, Jonathan, tell them to also send a special little note to Senator Mitch McConnell, because he's really looking at it. He's always worked with me on these things, and I think he's trying to get to yes. So it'd be great if everybody'd weigh in with him too.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. As a liberal Democrat from Kentucky, I've been pleased to work with both Senators McConnell and Paul on this. It's the rare issue, and it's so great to see you reach across the aisle and work so closely with those folks on this important issue. We're really grateful.
We'll do it again. Thanks so much.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Senator Wyden.